Welcome to Beyond the Gates 2024. I am Jerry. This is Rauta channel you're watching, and this time we have a very special guest from Italy, Death SS. Mind you, something that I have to mention because why I feel this is very special is this is the oldest band ever on the channel. These guys are from the 1970s, meaning that a lot of you out there were not even born when these guys started playing heavy metal. So let's introduce the guys to the evening, and let's start with you, sir. Please state your name and what are you doing in the band?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Manu. I'm in the band with the surname of United Talbot. I am the drummer from the band, and I am the werewolf. You know, the band has many characters from horror films, so I'm supposed to be the man who will wake up during the night, slashing the people and eating, people. Yeah, that's what I basically do in the band. So blood and drumming, that's my lifestyle.
Bloody and drumming and werewolves.
Yeah.
What about you, sir?
I'm the oldest. I'm Steve Sylvester, and I founded the band in 1977 from Florence, Italy. And that's the first time we came here in Norway. It's really exciting to do this concert.
Excellent. And what about you, sir?
Hi everybody, I'm Gilles, and I lead guitar in the band, and my character is a zombie. You know, everyone knows who zombies are, and that's my point. This is what I do.
So, let's start first with the band name. This is something that is already out there as an information, but people finding now for the first time about the band. Why not just Death? Why Death SS?
This has always been a big problem for us, especially abroad, because the whole name of the band is In Death of Steve Sylvester. That is my name. So the SS are not meaning with Nazis or some politics or something fuck like this, but it's just the initial of my name and surname, Steve Sylvester SS. We choose the name In Death of Steve Sylvester, Death SS, because it means the death of my old being and my rebirth after the initiation and the occult and the music. So it's a magic name that are nothing to do with Nazism. So this is important because we don't talk about politics or stuff like this.
This is very important to mention, but now we want to know why we need your name to be mentioned in the band name to begin with. I mean, back in 1970s, names like Death was not even taken by this American death metal band, and you could have just been named Death.
When we started, the American band called Death doesn't exist at the time. As I explained you before, death means just a death of an old normal being and a rebirth under the light of the occultism. Because when we started, we was very young, but we are always involved in occultism and magic rituals. So the band name for me is something cathartic that explains this state of being that we are new beings that are rebirth. We're not the same when we started. After the initiation, Death SS come like an entity that can change people, change members, but it's always been the same with a very strong character that is talking about occultism, horror, and all the stuff that is near this, from horror comics, horror movies, and serious occult lyrics.
All right. Now, a question for you, sir.
Yeah.
You chose the role of a zombie, and zombies are not known very intelligent being, but rather just going for the brain and the body and being. Why did you want to become a zombie of all the horror creatures out there?
Well, I didn't become. I took it in the band because the band mainly have some historical characters, and all the members that the change will take over the same character. So for the guitar is a zombie and death. Death is not longer in band, so I take zombie. But it's not important what character you are. It's the corpus, the entire band that made a full immersion in horror music. So my zombie, his is werewolf. There's a mummy. There's a vampire. There's the phantom of the opera. Everybody has his character inside a whole band. So I don't hit brain anymore. Anyway. So,
You tell me that I feel afraid, like, keep the guy away from me, he's in my brain. Now about you, being a werewolf, you seem much more a lively character than a zombie going for a brain, and you can transform during full moon and all.
Absolutely, that's what I do, you know. That's
how does it feel to be this beast?
I always desire to be a werewolf, you know. It describes my personality 100%, you know. I live alone by myself, you know. I don't like very much to stay with people, you know. During the night, something happened to me. I really transforming myself.
You get hurried?
Yeah. In some way, we can say that the night fits for me in the way that I can really express myself musically, artistically.
So you're a nocturnal being?
Yes, definitely, totally. And when I go on stage, light, you know, lights me up, really. And that's where I started feeling the energy of a werewolf that is transforming from a human being to an animal, you know, to a violent animal. And I put all this transportation, I put all this power, you know, this energy that I feel to my drums. It's a very physical instrument, okay? And it's really challenging because it's like the director of the orchestra, okay? And without the power of the drum, the band couldn't exist. Any band in rock music, but especially for metal bands. I come from extreme metal. I play in other bands, the most famous of Bulldozers coming from Italy as well. And looking at the way that I was playing with those bands, and now it's, you know, it's really that we are talking about very different kinds of music, even if we stay in the world of heavy metal itself. But this is totally different to me. I still feel the energy, a lot of energy, but it's not the energy of speed. It's not the energy of being as fast as you can. It's the energy of being powerful. It's the energy of the silence of your instrument that is vibrating. You have to feel the vibration. You have to make the people that you listen to you feeling those vibrations. So that's what the werewolf express to me. It's the energy that comes within itself and it spread it to the people. Okay, I love this kind of stuff.
That is a very good answer to the whole question, to understand the whole concept.
Yeah.
Now, we're going back to the Mr. Chief of the band. Like we were talking about zombies and werewolves and...
I am the vampire.
You're the vampire. Do you drink the, figuratively speaking,
just
hopefully?
sometimes, but I'm vegan, so I prefer
Vegan blood.
to drink vegan blood.
Okay.
Okay, I have a lot of respect for all the animals. So. Less from the people.
Yeah, that comes with the nature of the band. But talking about the music, you've split up, or at least gone on hiatus, many times during the years since you started in 1977, and you also have quite a different, eras or phases with the band. Some are more hard rock, heavy metal, some are more industrial later on. Then you kind of came back for heavy metal later on.
Yes.
Where is this traveling through different eras or phases coming from? Did you feel like you need to kind of recreate the whole band, or what's the story?
You must consider that we started in 1977, so a lot of years ago. During the time, we have never split really, but the band assumed many different phases that we call sigilli. Sigilli is a sigil.
Seals.
The seals. We have 7 seals, like a magical pact, from the beginning till now. Because in every seal we have changed the skin. We remain always that says with the same entity, with the same personality as we were started. But we change and we evolve time by time, the look, the music, but the atmosphere for me is always the same. We don't like to repeat in the time the same style, the same music more than one time. We have to evolve our sound, and for this reason, our records are all different one from the other. I don't like the etiquette like industrial or dark sound. We call simply horror music, because horror music take all the influences in music, but evolved in our personal style. I think that you can recognize that sense when you listen to over if your song is more dark, slow, or faster, or with some industrial or electronic experience inside. It's just our music that we like in the same moment. We that says change every years for represent the order of this moment. So the data sets of today are different from the data sets of the starting, but always is the same band. It's like a man, people that grow in the years.
Yeah, evolve and progress.
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking this especially because there's like a big difference, say, with Heavy Demons, 1991, if I remember correctly, and Resurrection. And there's quite a different feeling when Heavy Demons is kind of like heavy metal and hard rock with the heavy metal feelings and even some kind of a, I would say, typo, negative kind of a horror gothic thing going on. But with Resurrection, it's quite industrial. And later on, with the album like X, I think it's the latest one, that is more like going back to the kind of a traditional heavy metal, and the same was with Rock and Roll Armageddon as well. How do you feel the difference in composing songs throughout the different era with the progress and evolution?
When I compose a song, I never think that now I want to make a song in that style or another style. I only follow the feeling that I have in that moment, what represent the order of that says in that moment. So can be in this moment in this style, but tomorrow can be completely different. The important is to have a very strong personality that you anyway recognize when you listen to our music. The order is everywhere, so it's not only the gothic simple order of the characters we started when we was a child, like the Mummy, the Werewolf, the Vampires, but also evil presence that is the bad side, the dark side of each one of us. So this dark side can change every time, as the time where you live in this moment. So you can find evil everywhere, but the evil has many faces. And we try to represent all the faces of evil without limits. So we don't want to stay in limits or repeat every time what we have just done. So for this reason, Resurrection was different from Heavy Demons. Heavy Demons was very speed metal oriented, because in 1991 when we do that, we think that was the right mood for the moment. When we do 10X now, we have are collecting all the experience that we have done over the years in a more modern style. And the new album that we are preparing now is something more one step behind, so it's much more different.
All right.
But anyway, it all represent the our occult style that we like.
Okay.
Evil evolve.
Yeah,
and we evolve accordingly.
Yeah. Now, when you joined the band,
Couple of years ago.
How did it feel for you to just like join for this kind of a legendary Italian act which had a lot of history?
I was fan since '88 when In the Death of Steve Sylvester came out as a record. I was when I got the call. I already play in a Bulldozer. I already play in Ancient, and then I had the call. They ask if you are available. Well, it was a big deal. It was one of my favorite bands, so it was a big deal. Then it's happened like in the same way like in Bulldozer. I was fan of, and when I start playing with the band, I find myself fully comfortable in that role. I feel myself really at perfect in the band, perfect for the sound, perfect with the people I work with.
Yeah.
So as I expect something. Oh God, I got to play with this band. Oh my God! What's a big deal? It's a very big deal. It's too much for me. In the reality is, okay, it's perfect for me, and I feel really comfortable with the guys, with Steve, with everybody, and this is my experience, and I hope to give more in the future, to stay in the band, play with the band, giving what I can play for the band.
Now, Bulldozer is also another cult act. I mean, never been big, but also everybody in the underground at least has heard the band. How different it is playing in such a band versus, say, Death SS, because it's different style.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
As Talbot had told before, is totally different style. Bulldozer are much more physical, much more from the guts.
Yeah.
That sense is more about the mind. When you play, you have to work with the mind, not with the guts.
Yeah.
Bulldozer is okay. Well, let's go. Well, let us play.
Yeah.
Here you have to think every note, to work out every note with the right sound, with the right mood. Is more atmospherical and more of the mind.
So can we say Death SS is more emotional, and
Yeah, of course.
Bulldozer is more like physical?
Yeah, of course. Bulldozer is a punch in the face.
Yeah.
Here you have
A lot of theatrical. We have
Theatrical, and dramatic. I guess.
theatrical,
Yeah.
and many changes from song to song. There are difference between a song to another song, so you have to work with this. You have to change your mind from song to song.
Yes.
And this is the main difficulties to play in this band, because you have fast, light thrash like Vampire, and you have a slow tempo like Terror. You have to change your mind. If not, the song doesn't sound good. So that's the main difference.
Each song is like a different horror muse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So each song has his show, has his story, and we have to change and put the right mind song by song.
Now, this is a very good bridge to bring to you, because drums are typically the most physical instrument you can have.
Yep.
And the faster you play, the harder you play, the more probably you sweat it out. But when Death SS, you have also songs that are kind of like, I would also call it like kind of a romantic, like slow pace, like more like hard rock rather than like brutal metal.
Yeah,
and
sure.
since you come from also the world of extreme metal, how does it feel like, okay, I'm gonna make love to this beautiful song instead of like chopping somebody into pieces?
Yeah.
So how does it feel for you as a drummer to go from this brutality to almost like, I don't know, making love, at least kind of a slow it down?
Yeah. So to be honest, it is definitely something that I was looking for 2 or 3 years, definitely. I started getting older. Probably not. I will be forever young.
Yeah, of
like
course.
everybody.
Werewolves are not having the trait of a vampire. Sorry.
Yeah, always 20. Always.
Zombies especially.
Yeah. And after 20 years of drumming in the extreme musical scene, I started looking for something different, something like, why not try to be more emotional, you know? Yeah. Why not try to be more express myself in a different way? In fact, I started to seek for something different, even in my whole life, not only for drumming, you know, but for all the things that I like in my life, starting from films or for my passion, other things that I do out of drumming. And all these aspects led me to this different perspective that I started to have for my whole life. And of course, that has made was for me a big step in this process, okay, of reconsidering of my whole entire life, okay. And this was the key for me to really start listening something different, like some different music, different drummers, different influences, okay, and try to connect more the visual aspect and the musical aspect that I was not caring about it before, early on, okay? But since I came inside this situation, starting to take taking care, start feeling that there is a way to play that you have to do, considering how the visual will be, how the emotional aspect of music will be. Okay, that's something that was kind of game changer for me. Okay, it was like discovering a new world of new possibilities. You know, outside of playing fast and playing hard. I still play hard. I know. I don't know how I can live without playing hard.
Yeah. Once you go that far, it's that easy to not to.
Yeah, exactly.
There is going heavier.
Yeah, it's getting heavier.
Slow down, but heavier.
Yeah, I can use bigger sticks, you know. Yeah, but that's definitely something that I was looking for, and I feel like was finding what I really needed in my life to find. And what else? All these new influences that I started to have, you know, my drummer number one was Dave Lombardo, of course, but since I enjoyed this band, I started to listen more to drummer from the 70s. I always listened to Deep Purple, to Led Zeppelin and stuff like that, the most famous, okay? But I never got into deep into progressive metal, into progressive rock music, okay? Probably you know that Italy has a very, very, very big progressive scene that comes from the 70s. In the 70s there were bands that are really influenced a lot of any other bands in the world, okay? And I really discovered how far I can go with my influences, just stay in my country, you know. Yeah. And the fact that I am so lucky to play with two of the most important bands for Italian music, you know, it's the demonstration of how deep, how deeply, how deep is the artistic content, okay, the music that you can listen in my country. Okay, so it's like being proud of myself. It's like a call to arms to me. Okay, and since I was called to arms from this band, I started to rethink myself, and moreover I was needing this kind of path for me. Okay, so I don't know if I can explain, but probably you get.
I think I get it, and it's probably not only a Finnish thinking that the stereotypes for a lot of Italian people is like very, very passionate and also very romantic and all that stuff, like having heavy emotions versus Nordic people being more like, I don't know, a little bit distant. And in a way, Death SS, I feel like is very, very much putting that emotion into play, like. Well, it could come from various parts of the world. What I feel is like you have certain very, very Italian thing in what do you say? Like a lot of passion and a lot of like letting those emotions out in a way that couldn't fit, say, I don't know, Swedish band. You know, I guess.
So it was like I was starting to rediscover my Italian origins. So can we say this? Yeah, probably everybody in Italy, especially for metal music, grow up being very influenced by foreign band. But it's time for us people from Italy to take care about our music that comes from our country. Yeah, I think we have to be proud of it.
Music, you talk of emotions.
Yes, that's the language of emotions.
Yeah,
it's a translation of emotion with sounds. It's a interpretation of his emotion and a communication of emotion. Without that, it's not music. Yeah. It's just like a sound. It's not music. Music should be emotional. Should move something inside yourself. That's music. So if it doesn't move nothing in yourself, is sound.
This is something, by the way, you music teachers and all music professionals should take notes. This is the perfect description, in my opinion, what music is, the language and communication to what emotions are like.
This aspect is very important in that sense. You have to consider that when I started, I was only a little boy, I was just 15. And I simply want to gather together all my passion of teenagers. I like rock music. For example, at that time I really was in love for the sweet. Brian Connolly was one of my heroes, Mark Bolan, or the glam, all the glam English rock. But also like the Black Sabbath, for example. And then I really was a nerd that collected all kind of comics, the famous horror, sexy comics in Italian like Zora, Iacula, Oltretomba was the name that maybe you don't know, but it was very popular in the 70s in Italy. The sexy horror comics.
I've seen some, but I cannot say that I know them.
It was very important. And then also loved horror music, especially the one of the Hammer or the Amicus, so the one with Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and stuff
yeah, we're
like
talking
this.
about Hammer Studios films and Fulci and all that stuff.
So what I intend in my teenage mind at that time was all together this in an unique artistic combo. So I take the Brian Connolly of the Suite, but in dark version, like it was dead and vampirized, and play the music to have anthems, rock like Sweet or Slade or the band like this, but also dark like Black Sabbath or Black Widow. So it was something strange, but new at that moment in 1977. It was very original, I think, and with the look of the old horror music, so movies. So that is a start for a gather of all these passions. And I try to incarnate in a band.
Now, this is what I actually wanted to know is like, when did you realize you want to play heavy metal? And before you answer, I mean, back in 1970s, whether we go in any part of the world, there wasn't much heavy metal to begin with. Of course, there was Black Sabbath in the early 70s and all that stuff, but apart from a few bands from United Kingdom, you didn't have much heavy metal going on. All the American big names, they were not there before 1980 or so. You were there very, very early on, and nobody sees Italy as the big metal country. So you were doing basically the Italian Scorpions in a way.
Because in Italy, especially at that time, there was nothing of this. Italian bands or Italian singers are only melodic, the classic Italian melodic shit that I can also listen. It was also different to find that kind of music. So there are not so many, especially in exported, imported records stores. So I really was in love for Alice Cooper, for example. And when I listened from my uncle, that was older than me, of course, I discovered Uriah Heep, Black Sabbath. But the only records that I tried to buy in Italy was the 7-inch of hits of the Suite, for example, Razor, Baron Blitz. But also liked this kind of music and the other. In 1977, I also discovered punk rock when it started, when it born. And I go in London. I see one of the first concerts of Sex Pistols and Damned. I was very excited of all this experience. So when I come back in Italy, I decided to put the punk rock and energy in what I'm doing with the DSS. So it was I get a lot of influence with something I think very original, especially at that time.
I mean, it is, if you consider the background of very little heavy metal around, and you take a little bit punk music, which is not horror-based at all, but more like politics and societal, and you make it sound your own. I mean, that's quite of an achievement.
Yes.
Which brings me to the next question. Have you ever kind of realized or take a look at like how important you are to whole Italian scene as a pioneer band? Has it ever made you feel like, hey, I'm a real rock star, I should conquer the world?
I never thought about this kind of things. I only try to do all I like without limits, without to think about what I'm doing at that moment. It's like very spontaneous, everything I do.
Yeah.
It's just an expression of my personality. And I try to involve all the guys of the band in what I want to create in the moment. So I never wanted to be a rock star. Or
I kind of figured it out. You're down to earth.
Also would like to do all I like to do, if I can, to express my personality. Nothing
now, coming back to the Italian culture and all, how have you been recognized by Italian mainstream press or rock music journalism, like being the pioneers? Have you ever get the recognition like these guys kind of started it?
Oh yes, I think that quite everyone knows that SS like a name or more about 45 years that we are. So I think that everyone knows or just listen one time the name of the band. In Italy, everybody knows us. But I don't consider me a star or something like this. Just for the, I was lucky to arrive there now after all these years, and I continues to do what I want to do since I can.
Did your songs made to radio or music videos or?
We do a lot of singles because I like the 7-inch, for example. I'm a collector.
Format.
Yes, I'm a collector of this kind of stuff. And we realize a lot of videos that you can see quite everywhere now. In Italy, when MTV was started, sometimes that they pass our videos, but of course we are underground the style. We are not so commercial.
What about you? What made you? You're not a young guy either. You've been here for
Young
quite
guy,
some time.
Thank you for your young guy.
So, what made you to start like, hey, I want to play metal, and then realize I want to play actually extreme metal, not some Mötley Crüe. So, what made you to dive into the rabbit hole and into the world of horror, death, and darkness, and evil, and all the topics in the world?
Well,
What's fucked with you?
Well, it's a long story. I grew up, I was trained like a classical musician.
Okay.
I have a degree in music.
Wow.
So when you told before, it's the technical definition of music. It's my job. I teach music.
Well, there you have it.
And I was trained like a classical musician. Then I started to have the need of something in myself more aggressive, more of impact, of emotion. I need the same impact I had in the Fifth Symphony of Beethoven and so on. And I started looking for music, and I was digging. I was the early 80s, so I'm no younger anymore. And then I start digging with much more extreme music, much more. And it was the golden era. You know, we start with first thrash in the 83s, then go to the early death in the 85, the death metal scene in the 90s, then grindcore, and I start exploring all the extreme music, and I feel myself comfortable in this sound, especially with many bands that are not commercial. But commercial music is easy listening. The definition itself.
Yeah.
It's quite easy. It has no emotion, no deep feelings. Metal has really deep feelings, and I associate this with my classical trainee, and I feel it's another expression of what classical music is. Classical music is based on feeling deep and deep emotion, and metal is likewise, it's the same thing. So I start to dig in all the bands, and I start to like extreme metal because it give me extreme emotion. It's like the emotion shaking your body, your soul, everywhere. And this is cool for what I feel, and that's my life.
Now, a lot of people have made notes that certain classical music, be it Beethoven, Mozart, whatever, and there are certain same patterns, especially in the extreme music, in the sense of certain compositions, how they're built up and going for the more epic landscape rather than easy chords and riffs being played, and certain like same atmosphere, even if the outcome is different, versus full orchestra versus drums, bass, guitars, drums.
The sound is different, but
the language is basically the same.
The language is the same because for a classical composer, the main point is going deep to emotion, not just emotion, just the surface of an emotion. Going deep. When you feel something like classical music, you feel something deep in yourself. And metal is trying to replicate this feeling. It's not just a surface emotion. Oh, I am happy, I'm sad. No, it's something more deeper. And many bands take from classical, because classical. No, we became from classical music.
Yes.
So it's something going back to the roots, learning how they express that feeling, and we can recreate with another sound. Stockhausen, Schoenberg, did the same in the 50s. They changed the sound. They started working with electronic music, but working with the mind of classical music. The point is the same. The sound is different, but the main core of the thing is the same.
Now, even synthwave have a lot of similarities. You just basically, throw the guitars and bass out of the window, take the keyboards, but the same dark tunes are right there.
Yeah, of
and you
course.
can go for like video game movies or movie music, and there are lots of same things happening, like certain patterns going really dark and
Of course.
deeper levels. Are there other favorite styles for you, as apart from classical music and metal music, when it comes to having favorites as such?
Basically, I have none.
Yeah.
I dig I dig very deep in classical music and in metal.
Yeah.
I don't listen usually to other music, but if I feel something that's going the same way, we don't understand. I don't give a shit about if the sound is a guitar or is a keyboard. The main reason is the sound should be the right one. So if I stumble in something like that, I would appreciate it, of course.
Now, talking about drums then again, you don't really make melodies, you don't really make riffs, but you, channel the feeling in very, very percussionate ways. So what kind of inspirations, certain names maybe, that inspired you? I should play the drums, not the bass, not the guitar, not the saxophone. So what made you to choose drums, or did the drums choose you?
Because drums are the heartbeat. Okay, we all almost lively people. Okay, and we have a heart that is bumping. You are off, and probably Steve is off as well. And there's a rhythm that is inside of everybody of us. Okay, and I think that somebody could be really aware of the fact that he's living if he starts really feeling the bumps in his heart. Okay, and it's very similar, the two things, I mean, heart and drums. There's a very famous Italian drummer, he's from Napoli, he's called Tullio D'Episcopo, okay? He's a jazz drummer.
Okay.
Is nothing, he was never involved into metal, he became famous with some pop songs, okay? And he is very famous in Italy for the teaching that he does to his students. I never went to him because it's too far and it's totally another kind of music which I'm not interested in 100%. Okay,
Sure.
But once I happened to listen to him live in a theater, okay, and after the show there was some interview and there was some people that were like sad because they were saying, okay, Tullio, you are a great drummer, but I have no absolutely fucking clue of what drumming, of where I should start to play some drums, okay? And his answer was exactly what I tried to explain you. The fact that you have a heart, the heart has a rhythm itself, so it's just a matter of starting listening to ourselves, just listening of the rhythm, of the frequency that is carrying us during our life. Okay, so this basically this concept. Everybody could be a drummer if he digs deeply inside
And just
himself.
lets it out.
Just let it
Basically
go.
like
Yeah.
dancing then.
Yes. It's quite the same. Yeah, feeling a rhythm, because rhythm is inside ourselves. You know, the drums, percussions are the very first instrument in this story of human being.
Yes.
You know, first instrument were the percussion that people in Africa,
Somebody
prehistoric
had
people,
sticks and
yes,
stones.
Yes. So it's so. It's the very first, probably raw, okay, but it's the first little seed for people to transform their emotion in something that has that is possible to be coded in somehow, okay. So that's basically what I feel, okay. And if we go deeper into music, okay, of course I decided to play drums in heavy metal music because there's this big wall of sound, you know.
Yeah.
It was,
You wanted to be that big wall of sound guy.
yeah. The big wall of sound mostly becomes from the guitars, okay, in my opinion. But as I started to hear the drum snare, okay, the snare, okay, yes, the snare always cut through the mix.
Yeah.
Snare always beat you in your head, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. So you have this big feeling of this wall of sound that is bumping, you know,
Yeah.
even in my lungs, you know, even in my stomach.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
you
a
have
kind-
heart beating. It's
we
already
have
giving
it.
a rhythm.
We had it, yeah. But everything is kept in order with your mind, with the snare drum, you know.
Yeah.
The snare drum that is hitting constantly, relentlessly, okay,
Yeah.
in this kind of music. And this power up 100% your perception of life. And even more, if you're talking about death, okay, you have to be aware of what death is in order to really understand what life is, okay. That's the way I'm thinking.
That's a very
Okay.
philosophical take on drumming.
Probably. Probably. Yeah, it's something that I developed during the years. I mean, this kind of feeling, this thinking, okay, that was not the way that I was thinking when I started playing drum when I was 14, okay? But as far as you go, you started getting more deep on what I am doing and why I am doing this. You had to ask yourself these questions every day to really to pick up the value, the very big value on the things that you're doing in your daily life.
That's very, very good.
Yeah.
Now, before we go a little bit of the deeper level of the band now we're talking about guitars, we're talking about singing, we're talking about history, we're talking about drums. But what people need to know about Death SS lyrics, what else there is than just horror?
Yes, I am the only writer of the lyrics, and I started telling horror histories tied to the characters that we represent. I also evolved in the, something more intimistic, some occult. I'm a follower of the teachings of Aleister Crowley, so I dedicate also an album that is Do What I Will to the OTO, Aleister Crowley experience. And also I think that is something spontaneous that burn inside me in my evolution like a man, not only like a musician. So when I complete my studies, my personal study to enrich myself, my soul, I try to represent my feelings in the lyrics. So every kind of Death SS lyric can be read or listened in two different styles. The simple, that is melodic, what represent just to entertainment. And the other, if you want to discover something hide inside the lyrics.
Some hidden facts.
Yes, hidden atmosphere, hidden message that I can try to give to the listener. That is a kind of representation of the evolution of the band in the moment, in the concept of each album.
Now, are there any favorite lyrics or songs, full songs that you want people to check out if they're new to the band? Like, okay, I've never heard about Death SS because I'm young and all, and people are now finding out. What songs or set of lyrics they should start with?
I don't know. It's difficult to.
I know it's difficult to choose a
'cause
favorite baby, but
I wrote-
that's why I ask it.
Yes, exactly. I
Well,
wrote
you can say a full album if
under
you want.
the different songs. So my answer could be the last album, because the last album is the representation in music and lyrics of what the TSS are now.
Yeah.
For example, but if you want to discover something different, for example, do what a Wilt album is very interesting for the occult side of our lyrics. It was supervisioned by people that are entered the magic and was a result of years of studying. So it's not only entertainment, but only something of deep. But I think every album, there's not something of more in particular that representative that says from another. I can consider 10, it's the last one, and the next that we we wanted to play in the next year.
All right. As you as a live, but playing live, and you get to choose one favorite song, you would say like this is one of the best songs. You get the energy and all. What would it be?
Good question.
Good question. It's pretty difficult to choose one.
I know it's
But
annoying.
I'm going for my personal taste. I should go for Terror and Vampire. That were on the first album, and the album I knew for the first time of the TSS, and is something I feel deep, much more deeper than others, because it was my first album, and I loved the dark atmosphere. I love dark atmospheres, and the first album is the darker of all the TSS album. And if I want to choose, I choose these two. The one is slow, deep, with a down-to-earth mood, and very, very gloomy. The other one is much more speed and has good riff, good technical skills to do. Great solo in the end is not mine. I just play, but it's amazing solo. The solo is going deep. There's a part there is only one note. Repeat for all the riff, and this note going deep in yourself, deep, deeper, always deeper. Is what just one note is something perfect for me. Is these two songs.
That's like almost like an adult entertainment whole slogan. Deeper. What about you?
Yeah.
What's your favorite track one of the favorite tracks to play live, like really like nails it for you?
Well, there are a couple of tracks for many reasons. I will say that Terror probably is my best one, because there's a moment when the guitar solo is going on, okay? He's playing a stunning guitar solo, you love it, and Steve is burning the cross, okay? When we can do it, you know? When we can, yeah. It's a pity because we can't always bring our entire show, especially in closed venue like this, which is an awesome venue, this one. But you know, all the safety rules, yes, make us, or sometimes, you know, not bringing the whole concert. But when we can, I literally freaking out when I see the the guitar solo, the cross is burning, I'm smashing like Billboard, you know, slow and hard, you know. Yeah. I look at the sky, you know. I started, you know, going crazy with myself. Probably people don't notice that, you know, but that's something very, very, very big that is happening inside me in that particular moment. So I gotta thank the band, I gotta thank Steve and all, and the music for making me feel this sensation while I'm playing live. Okay. Then another track that I like to play a lot is Baron Samedi, because I love the drum intro. It talks about this divinity from the Caribbean, okay? And so there's this, percussion, percussionist intro. I use double bass, I use the floor toms, and everything sounds so sexy to me, even in the central part when there's the representation of the ritual, okay? And this is something that I never happened to listen into all the music that I listen to in my whole life. We are talking about a dark song, we are talking about a slow song, but even a sexy song, okay? But it's a different kind of being sexy. Now the Motley Crue kind of shit,
Very distinct.
Yeah. Let's keep it the separate. Let's keep it separate. Yeah. And then, okay, another one, since I come from extreme music, I'm gonna pick the fastest one, which is Peace of Mind, the first one. It's a very smashing introduction, and just to just to tell the people that we want to punch their face, since the beginning.
All right, last question for you.
Yeah.
What is your tip if there's no starting drummer, someone in the audience is like, I want to play drums, what do you need to know? What would be your tip to be?
You need to be passionate. You need to love music. Of course, you need technique, okay, but technique is not the goal. Technique is the tool, okay. I made this kind of mistake in the past. I was concentrated too much in being so technical, in being the best technical drummer in my small fucking town, but this is leading you. This is misleading you. It's taking you to something that is nothing concerning music. The history is full of great drummers that made great music without having any technique, without taking any drumming lesson. Yeah. We are talking about feeling today, okay?
Yeah, that is the topic of today.
That's the topic of today. Yeah. That's all you need.
All right.
To love what you are listening to. And first of all, listening to your bandmates, listening to the guitar, listening to the bass, not be so much concentrated on your drum. Just feel the whole result.
That is a very, very important lesson.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what about you? I will ask you the same question, basically. What is your tip? Like, you want to be the guitar player, you want to play heavy metal or extreme metal. What, in your opinion, is the best advice you can give someone out there? Not the full lecture, just one.
Like I did.
We talk all the time emotion. Whatever someone should play, the main goal is emotion. Is a 2 note, it's 100 notes, it's emotion. You have to work out your emotion. You play with passion. That's the main point. Technique is something you have to study. That's for sure. But you can have all the technique in the world. But if you don't say anything, you are nothing. You can play just 1 note and communicate. And that's music. Not just sound or notes. It's music. That's my biggest advice for someone who want to start with music. Play with passion.
Now we got covered the passion, the emotion, and all that stuff. So I'm not going to ask you the same. I'm going to ask you what makes good lyrics to be good lyrics.
The good lyrics must represent you, your soul. You have to communicate some feeling to the people who listen to the lyrics, and they will be simple, but with a lot of meanings inside. So the one that is good easy to listen, because it's fun, just for entertainment, and also to communicate a message that you can interpret on your own. So I have not to do something that like a preacher. That I don't want to predicate anything to anyone, but I can communicate only my feelings that it could be good for me, but also good and make good all the people that listen. So, for example, Aleister Crowley, do what the will shall be the will of the law. Love is the law, love under will. That means that everybody can do something that represents the real in self. And this could be a lesson for everyone. So what I am now could be the same that you became in the light of a cult. Or it's not so simple to explain, but it's a feeling that you have to communicate not only with music, but only with lyrics.
All right, very well. Thank you so much. Now, this is Dead SS. Now you know something about their history, something about the passion, the emotions, the skills, the whole feeling, and a little bit about vampires, zombies, and werewolves. So I hope you guys get the chance to witness these guys live. I most surely will tonight. Well, by the time this is out, it's already out. But give a chance to the band's discography. There's some nice gems for you people to find out, and a lot about heavy metal history regarding Italy. So thank you, Death SS. Thank you for it, guys.
Thank you for you.
Being here with me, and thank you
It was
being
a pleasure.
in the Bergen. Thank you for being
Thank you very
beyond the
much.
gates. Now off you go, do your lessons, dive into the world of Dead SS, and you will be a lot happier place. This is Rauta, this is Beyond the Gates. Off you go, enjoy.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, guys.